to share with you a book review, which I haven't done in a while, even though half of my bookshelf is dedicated to books that I have to read and review. That book is Wink, Poppy, Midnight by April Genevieve Tucholke. This is from Penguin Teen, and they gave me a copy in exchange for a review, so thank you so much, Madison, or anyone else who might be watching this from Penguin. April is also the author of Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, which I believe is also from Penguin, and I've also read that one, and I really liked it. The synopsis for this is extremely vague. This is the synopsis. It's like 4 lines, 2 girls, 1 boy, 1 summer, 1 bad thing. What really happened? Someone knows. Someone's lying. It gives you no explanation of what you're getting into or who these characters are or what you're following. So I feel like this does have some room for a better synopsis than that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you it does follow 3 characters, 2 girls and a boy. Their names are in the title of the book. Midnight is the boy, and he's been in love with Poppy for years, but she is not a nice person. She uses him. She's just generally a really big bully, and so he decides he wants to get over her, so whenever their family moves away, like 2 miles away, that's him cold turkey cutting off his relationship with her, and his new neighbor is Wink. The entire thing just follows that character dynamic between all 3 of them. It's pretty much a big character study, and it's a psychological thriller. I think the reviews on the back of this book just pinpoint what this book's about, so I'm gonna read you a couple of the snippets. Lyrical, intense with the heart of mystery, a mesmerizing tale where I didn't know who to trust, who to love, or who might die, a highly addictive tale of monsters, heroes, and teenage angst, duplicitous characters, dark secrets, and complicated lies. It grabbed me from the first line and didn't let go. Mysterious, beautifully written, and deeply seductive. The best, most brilliantly written book I've had the pleasure of reading. A true gem featuring 3 multifaceted characters that remind us that we're all a little good, a little bad, and a whole lot of everything in between. This is a haunting, edge-of-your-seat psychological thriller, an undeniable masterpiece. It's kind of hard to voice my thoughts about this because it is so strange. So first of all, I gave this book 4 stars. There were lots of things I liked about it and a couple things that I didn't. Just the main thing to note is that it would not be a book for everyone. This book to me read like We Were Liars meets Rainbow Rowell. It has that very strange quality of We Were Liars, like where is this going? Like, are these characters who they say they are? But the characters themselves are so individually fleshed out, and they have their good sides and their bad side, and they just are so real yet so strange and not real at the same time. It's kind of hard to voice that. Even though this is a contemporary book, they felt like characters from a fantasy book where like they behaved like normal people, they had emotions like normal people, and they felt like real people, but there was just a layer to them where you knew that they could never actually exist. And I don't know if that was the intention, and I know that might bug people if they're like, oh, but these aren't realistic people, but I think this is a book that should not be taken at face value. I don't think anything in this should be interpreted literally, and it shouldn't be taken too seriously because it does seem like almost a magical realism book, even though there's no magical in it. Just the vibe while reading this is so atmospheric, it's almost hallucinogenic. Just from the characters' names, like Wink, Midnight, Poppy, it's so peculiar, and the attitudes of the characters was so different than a regular contemporary you would read. You either love it or hate it. The characters are just quirky. The writing was what made it so great. The way that you're encompassed in that world and you're with characters that you don't know who to trust and you don't know what the intentions are of the characters. It was such a great storytelling, and the way that she would repeat phrases. The mastery behind creating a story that takes you for all these dives and loops, I just think was done really well. I don't know how exactly to talk about the plot of this book, because on one end, like I just told you, I don't think it should be taken too literally. Like the things that happen in this book, it almost feels dream-like. This is one of those books where you read it and then you're like, oh, and then whenever you reread it, everything is different, knowing what you know by the end of it. So in that sense, I think some things felt a little bit weird or uncomfortable or convenient. You don't know why characters do the things that they do. And for the most part, sometimes you're left kind of having to grapple for what's happening. You're only given so much information about an event that occurs. You have to piece things together yourself a lot, which might be a cool aspect of it being sort of that psychological thriller, even though it's not technically that. I think it's more contemporary, a character study with a commentary about bullying. Even though parts of it were unrealistic, once again, it has that hallucinogenic dream-like quality to it where I was okay with that. Because it felt like I was reading a book that wasn't meant to be strictly a contemporary book, realistic fiction about these characters and you have to believe in it. It wasn't trying to be that at all. It was trying to be an interesting story about characters that you're not supposed to love and you're not supposed to entirely hate either. However, I did think that forgiveness was doled out a little bit too generously. The main issue I had with this book is that there was such a build-up and mystery to this cathartic scene that never happened. I think the build up to that, and especially since it's so mysterious, like the synopsis is so vague, there's a lot of anticlimax that occurs, but it was worth it in the end. I did like the way that it went. I was concerned like halfway through the book. I was like, okay, I like these characters. If this goes a different direction than I'm anticipating, then I don't think I would give it 5 stars like I kind of want to, which in the end did kind of happen. I think this is a book that I could reread and find something new in every single time I reread it. It's pretty short. It's like 250 pages. I did originally write down this book was too short because I felt like it had a little bit of insta-love in it. I could justify that by thinking to myself, well, this wouldn't be an actual thing that teenagers do. Like, this is a very almost like psychopathic story of characters that are not in any realm normal teenagers. If you want to take a risk and read this book, I think it would behoove you. It's pretty short. I read it in one day, which I haven't been reading at all this summer, so to pick up this and fly through it was great. I love April, as always. Her writing is so great, and she just makes these really cool stories that I have never read anything like before. You can pick this up from anywhere on the internet or in bookstores. I assume it's still out there somewhere. This cover is absolutely gorgeous. The inside content matched the gorgeous cover. I hope you all will go and pick this one up and tell me how you liked it, because it's very strange. I feel like this would be a really good book club book because there's so much to discuss. It's very open to interpretation. Until next time, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you're having a wonderful life, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!